We are live.
Hi guys.
Hello, welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is the Speed Mooting Partners in Crime podcast.
Welcome.
Welcome. We had a shorter one than usual last week, didn't we, Hayley?
Yep.
We were up the wall. Up the wall again this week, to be fair. Hence the reason we are recording as late as we really can, because we release these on a Friday morning. It's 5:15 on a Thursday now that we're starting to record this one, so yeah.
So everyone that's listening to this on a Friday morning or beyond, have some pity on me, because I am the one who will have spent my Thursday evening editing and uploading this podcast for you all.
Absolutely. So while Hayley does that, I'll be typing my attendance notes from today.
It's all fun and games.
Yeah, all fun and games. But you know what?
We love it. We love bringing you these podcasts, and we say we'll bring them each and every week, and each and every week we shall.
We certainly will. So let's jump straight in and name this episode. So we're on 68. We're still in a pretty dry period in terms of Formula 1 driver numbers. So not until we get to, I think, episode 77 have we got another Formula 1 driver. So got another 10, 11 weeks or so before we've got another Formula 1 driver. So anyway, this week, it's a little bit out there, a little bit, sort of tentative in terms of, how we're naming these, but we're back onto the people born in the year of the number. So it's 1968 this week. 69 next week is going to be good, actually. We've got a few good ones for 69. So yeah, we're on 1968. It's a wrestler born this year. Okay.
Am I going to know him?
I think you will,
Ooh,
I think
okay.
you will.
This just got interesting.
Okay, so he was in WWE and TNA. Interesting fact about this guy. You associate, you'll know him, and he's associated as a WWE guy. Actually spent more time in TNA than he did WWE.
What's TNA again?
So that was it's still going. It's a rival company.
Okay.
But kind of, it really came into its own in the sort of the late 2000s. So sort of 2006 through to 2010 was when it was really in its heyday. They got loads of big names going across.
Is this where Cody left and went to and then came back?
No. That's AEW. That's a different company.
Too many acronyms, guys.
Yeah, all acronyms, aren't they? It's worse than the CJS, the criminal justice system, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he went across there, so spent more time there. He was an Olympic hero, won gold for the USA at the 96 Olympics. His catchphrase was, "It's true, it's true."
I don't know. Anything else?
Trying to think of clues I can give you without giving it away too much. So he Olympic wrestler. That's what his background was. He what are the clues?
Give me some obvious clues, because you're gonna have to name him anyway.
Yeah. So currently bald. Was bald for most of his career. Lost his hair in a hair versus hair match. It was the first ever of its kind. So basically he wrestled against someone else and the loser had to have the head shaved.
Okay. So bald.
Bald. Olympic gold medalist.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No. Drank milk.
Oh, okay. It's starting. I can see someone now.
Okay.
I can't.
So his finishing moves were, he changed his move to his name, but originally it was called the Olympic Slam and also the ankle lock.
Go on, I'm going to kick myself.
Okay, so it's not Chad Gable, I'll give that much away. Chad Gable's the current kind of Olympic guy. He's like the modern day version of this guy.
Okay.
You are going to kick yourself when I give you this
one.
Kurt Angle.
Oh, no. You know what? For some reason, I was thinking like Kurt Cobain in my head. And that's like, is that a singer or something?
He was the lead singer of Nirvana.
Yeah, and I was like, no, it's not right, but it was in the brain,
yeah, you're
so close.
But yeah, Kurt Angle, so, got to have a bit of B-roll of Kurt Angle saying, it's true at this point.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's true! It's damn true!
Yeah, Olympic hero, went across, did really well in WWE. He was one of the first guys to jump ship to TNA, and then a lot of other guys did and did really well over there.
Okay.
And then came back years later. Yeah, I think he's got his own podcast now as well, actually. So,
Probably copied us.
He's probably, to be fair, he probably has. So I'll give his podcast a shout out. No doubt he's going to give us a shout out this week as well. So welcome to episode 68, the Kurt Angle special.
Welcome.
So it's not a wrestling podcast. This is a law podcast. I have to think that we talk about that much stuff that's not legal. I was like, well, what do we talk about again?
This is a legal podcast,
This is very
guys.
much a legal podcast. And we've got a jam-packed episode today because we're going to be talking all sorts, answering your questions. We've got many events we've just launched, so we've got so many events to talk about.
Yep.
And a certain Sir Brian Leveson brought a report out recently as well, didn't he?
He certainly
So we're
did.
gonna
I
chop
think
it
let's
down.
start there.
Okay, let's start there then. So Sir Brian Leveson, former president of the Queen's Bench Division, recently produced a report upon efficiency in the criminal justice system. You've probably heard about this. You know, there's a number of problems, many problems, but you know the key issue that people are pointing out at the moment is the backlog in the Crown Court. So I think the figures at the moment somewhere in the 75,000 region.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I hear about this in other places. Liverpool, we're actually really efficient. So you know, we're listing trials generally speaking within around 12 months or so. So Liverpool's actually really good in terms of its efficiency, but other parts of the country not so much.
I mean, it's crazy. 12 months, that's still a long time, isn't it?
It is, but I suppose in fairness, you do need a bit of a buffer built in anyway, because you know you need your stage dates to be complied with. So you know stage 1, stage 2, 3, 4, etc. And then I suppose if ever there's any issues, you know, it gives you that buffer time, gives you time for a pre-trial review, etc. I suppose you are right though. You know, 12 months is still
It's quite a long time. So you think if that's like the benchmark of that's really good, it just shows how bad must be.
Well, yeah, that's a point. Yeah, that is a fair point, because you know I'm seeing people and they're online and they're talking about trials listed in 2029.
Yeah.
No one wins in the criminal justice system anyway. You know, it's not a game. It's not winning and losing. But what I mean is, you know, it's just not fair on anyone. That
No.
You know, if you're a complainant in a criminal offence and you're waiting that long, you know, you've got that hanging over your head for that long. You know, that just can't be nice anyway. And you know, there's probably people that just become disenfranchised with the system and say, do you know what? I'm not even going to bother going to court.
Yeah, that'll be why so many of them, when they finally do get to court, the witnesses aren't willing to give evidence anymore because they've waited so long. They've probably moved on and tried to put it behind them, and they don't want to drag it all up again and start afresh.
Yeah,
you can understand it, can't you?
You certainly can. You certainly can, because you know, no matter what type of crime you've been the victim of, you know, it's horrible to have to wait that long to come to court. And as you say, you know, as much as you want, you know, the defendant, whatever they've done, to be brought to justice, if it means you waiting 5 years to come to court, you'd rather just say, do you know what?
Yeah.
You know.
And also, you know, if you're the defendant, you know, innocent until proven guilty, but these people have to live for years with it hanging over their head before they can, you know, have their day in court and prove their innocence in some cases. It's just not great for anybody, is it?
No. As I say, no one wins. You know, it's not fair on anyone. And you know, we should caveat this just in case you don't know much about criminal law. If it's a defendant that's on remand, you know, their trials obviously come to court a lot quicker because you've got CTLs, custody time limits. So these are trials whereby an individual is on bail. But you know, even still, it's just.
And for the point of view from the lawyers as well, so the solicitors and the barristers, every time, so you might have one little hearing and then you don't get instructed on that case for 3-6 months, in which case you've got to like redo a lot of work that you've already done.
Yeah.
And you can't be like remunerated fairly for that in some cases, I bet.
No, not at all. Remuneration is actually something he touched upon. I mean, I've not read the full report, but he actually touched upon this briefly in the report.
Yeah.
I mean, just to take that example you've just been talking about, the way trials are listed in the Crown Court, there's different ways that trials can be listed. So sometimes you might have what's called a fixture. So generally speaking, if you've got expert witnesses, you'll try and make sure, or the judge will try and make sure the trial is a fixture. So say if you say, right, the trial's going to kick off on the 5th of January, if it's a fixture, solid, it's booked in the diary, it's going to kick off that day. You also have trials that go into what's called a warned list, okay? So that means that, it might be, I don't know, say if it was, next week, so let's see, where are we today? So say it was the 20th of July, warned list, and you don't know which day during that week the trial's going to kick off.
Mm-hmm.
And, so you might have been trial counselled all the way throughout, and then it turns out you're then unavailable for the trial because other things come in. It's there's a strange problem to have, but there's too much work at the criminal bar at this moment in time. So you might have a case that's in the warned list,
yeah,
but you don't know what day it's going to kick off, and this person who's had consistent representation all the way throughout ends up with a different barrister.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that happens as well is you get cases that go into what's called a floating list. And that means, could be, let's say it's a trial that's due to start today, and say you're in a Crown Court that's got 10 courtrooms, and your trial is allocated as a floater,
mm-hmm.
and that means you're literally just waiting on any courtroom to become available.
Yeah.
You could have half the courtrooms have got trials in, half of them have just got, general lists of sentences, PCPHs, whatever. If no court becomes available that day, the judge will bring you in and say, right, no courtroom available, we're going to need to adjourn off for another 6 months or 12 months, whatever it might be. And as you say, as the barrister, you put all that, it could be a massive trial. You could have 2,000 pages of evidence, 10,000 pages of evidence, whatever, and you've done all that preparation. Yeah, away it goes.
Yeah.
And you'll get your standard appearance fee for rocking up on that day.
Which is poor in most cases.
Terrible. Well, yeah.
All cases, yeah.
All cases, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a standard appearance fee, it's terrible.
Yeah. And I know we're talking about criminal law, but just touching on civil cases for a moment. So when I left private practice, we were experiencing huge delays with the courts as well. I haven't heard any commentary to counter this, so I think it's pretty similar over on the civil side as well. We were chasing court for months and months and months just to issue the claim, never mind, get the hearing date in for them. And it was COVID. The COVID backlog was consistently cited as one of the main reasons, and, staffing problems. And I think that is part of the reasons as well for the Leveson Report. Part of the problem is still backlogs from COVID.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not just a criminal issue. I think it's just the court system in the UK and England and Wales. Just something needs to change. Something needs to give.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Leveson Report was focusing on the criminal justice system, and that's the reasons for the report, is because of the court backlogs.
Yeah. So, there's a number of, there's many recommendations within the report, so we're not going to have time to go through absolutely everything. But
just give you some highlights about what everyone is talking about.
Yeah, so the key things everyone's talking about. So, you might remember during COVID, the Magistrates Court had its sentencing powers increased. So as a general rule, in the Magistrates Court, a bench of magistrates can only sentence an individual to 6 months custody or 12 months on if they've got two separate either way offences. The proposal within the report is to increase the sentencing powers to 12 months on a single offence. During COVID, magistrates had those powers increased. I think it was, if I remember rightly, I think it was for less than a year or so, and then the powers came back down again. So Leveson has proposed bringing that back in. The other proposal he's made is to make more either way offences summary only. So for those who don't know what we're talking about here, so an either way offence is an offence that can be tried either in the Crown Court or the Magistrates Court, hence the name either way. Now, at present, the way an either way offence works is, let's say you're a defendant, you're charged with that offence, it's your right to say, do you know what, I want a trial in the Crown Court, I want to go before a jury, and I want that trial. And that's your right, that cannot be taken away from you. If you're on an either way offence, you say you want your jury trial, you get your jury trial.
Yeah.
Now, the proposal is that for certain offences, so what he calls low-level offences, where the maximum sentence is 2 years, the proposal is keep it in the magistrate's court and have it as a summary only offence. Yeah. So the idea being, so these low level offences where the maximum sentence is 2 years, they would remain in the magistrate's court. So in effect, you'd lose your right to a jury trial on that. Now, there's been a mixture of opinions on this.
I think the loudest voices have been opposing this.
Yeah.
I was reading something today I think it was the chairman of the Bar Council has very publicly wrote an article, I don't know if it was the Times or, one of the big publications, speaking out against getting rid of the jury trials for these offences. Yeah,
I would be very slow to make such a change like that. I think, the right to a jury trial, it's been sort of integral within our criminal justice system for many hundreds of years.
But it's not going, is it? It's just widening the scope of stuff that doesn't go to them. I mean, we do accept, well, we must do, because we do have summary only offences, that there is some things that don't go to a jury, so you're only widening the net a little bit. So I think, as you can see as a title, jury service being abolished, now everyone's going to be like, no, pitchforks. But when you just say, well, it's, we already have this, it's just more crimes are going to go this way. So when you break it down a little bit, it doesn't seem quite so outrageous to me as somebody who's not in the criminal world.
And I think as well, if you look at the types of offences where, types of low level offences where people are electing, so the classic example at the moment is assault of an emergency worker. So generally speaking, in a lot of these cases, it tends to be assaults on police officers.
Yeah.
So up until, I think it's 2018, when the Assaults on Emergency Workers Act came in, prior to that, the offence would have been assaulting a police constable. That was a summary only offence, so that could only go before the magistrate's court.
Yeah.
And then so that isn't really charged anymore. The current practice is to charge it under the new offence, assault of an emergency worker, which is an either way offence. And you tend to find a lot of people will elect the jury trial on that particular offence, for example, because they think, well, do you know what? Let's chance my arm with a jury trial.
Yeah.
So it's the classic example of something that not so long ago would have been summary only anyway.
Yeah.
And so clearly, as you say, must be capable of being tried properly by magistrates.
Yeah.
Relatively simple issues involved. So examples like that, you can certainly see why, why it would work and why he makes that proposal.
And I suppose another reason of why people would be against it is the idea of one of the main benefits of a jury, isn't it? You get a mix of people, a mix of society, so you're more than likely to get someone that relates to you, for example, which is flipping it on its head, is kind of a criticism of magistrates then, isn't it? Saying they're not mixed enough to give us what the jury service gives us.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't actually know the process of being appointed a magistrate, but it tends to be people of an older generation, because it's voluntary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's voluntary, so you tend to say, you can correct me, John, because you work with you're in front of magistrates a lot, but it tends to be your older people, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Because they come at the end of their careers and they want to just do something with the spare time. So, if you're a 20-year-old female in trouble, you're probably going to find it hard to connect with a bench of magistrates the way you might connect with the jury. So maybe they need to change who becomes a magistrate, make it more attractable for different types of people. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I mean that really could be the answer, couldn't it? Maybe, I mean, we're literally just thinking here, maybe mini juries in the magistrate's court.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm literally just thinking off the top of my head here. But I mean that might be the answer. I mean, anyone who's ever practiced in the magistrate's court, whenever you've got a position of authority that gives evidence in the magistrate's court, you can almost guarantee that when you get your judgment from the magistrate, it begins with, we heard from such a person, they were clear, credible and consistent throughout. Even when they're not clear, credible and consistent, if they're in a position of authority, the magistrates will always say, they were clear, credible and consistent throughout. Whereas, there's certainly trials I've done where I've had not guilty verdicts from juries, and I know 100% if that was in the magistrate's court, it'd be a conviction every day of the week.
Yeah.
So you can understand why people elect jury trials.
Yeah. And you get frustrated with magistrates a lot, don't you, when you think they haven't quite understood or got the law right?
Well, yeah, I mean, let's be blunt about this. The number of times that you get a judgment back and you're thinking you've either A, not listened to the evidence, which happens, and B, not understood the law.
Yeah.
The reasoning, and you're writing it down, and I was scratching my head as I did that, and you're actually scratching your head as you write it down, thinking,
yeah,
you've not understood the law.
Well, at least with the juries, the judge clearly explains the law to them. They have a route to verdict. I mean, they still can go into a room and make a decision that's completely baffling and not supported by law, but at least the law's been explained to them. Yeah.
Well, in theory, you get the same in the magistrates court. They have a legal advisor that sits in front of them and gives them advice on the law.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, the advice is it's all right. Yeah, it's not bad, the advice they get.
So maybe
I mean, there's some brilliant legal advisors out
Yeah.
there. To be fair, some very, very experienced, very good legal advisors. But it's just and it's baffling. And this is the difference in the Crown Court and the Magistrates Court. When you get your verdict back from your jury, they've had very clear directions from the judge, and also as counsel, you've had input into that. So counsel have got to effectively agree them with your co-counsel, with the judge. So you've had some inputs into those directions beforehand as well. And the jury might go off piste because you don't get their reasoning. You don't know why.
I imagine if they had to stand there and give a judgment, you'd probably say something very different.
Yeah. So likewise, you do get verdicts where it comes back and you're thinking, wow, done well to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat there. But yeah, I think we need to be very careful before we're expanding which offences can be tried in the magistrates' court.
It's tricky, isn't it? It's a huge part of our justice system, and people really, really, really feel strongly about the jury system. And change is scary, and this is a big. If this came into play, this is a big change. But change is progress sometimes.
Yeah, and what we can't get away from is something's got to be done.
Yeah,
that's what we can't get away from, and obviously. Sir Brian Leveson's completed this report. He's undertaken his research. He's looked into it. So he's trying to find practical solutions.
Yeah. One change that he's recommended, which I think is receiving positive reviews, and you might understand this a bit better than I did, increasing the sitting hours. I
suppose you're going to have a very experienced judge that's going to be dealing with the case. I suppose that's one benefit of that. But you're getting in, when you're looking at cases where maximum sentence is 3 years, you're getting towards, you're dealing with moderately serious cases there.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big decision to take away someone's right to a jury trial in those circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, everything we're saying, we're prefacing this with, something needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's obviously a very well thought out report. Recommendations are being made that can help, or seek to help, but I just can't help but wonder, is that a step too far in cases of that, where the stakes are that high, taking away someone's right to a jury? Yeah.
Wow.
But very interesting. Definitely worth a read.
Definitely worth a read.
Particularly if you're interested in criminal law. And if you're going for criminal pupillage applications, I have no doubt whatsoever that this report will come up in a pupillage interview.
Yeah. I did a post on LinkedIn today, and it was about commercial awareness.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking about when I was a student. I don't think I've told this story properly on the podcast before, but when I was a student and everyone says, "Oh, buzzword, commercial awareness, you need to be commercially aware." I was like, what does that even mean? And our uni did like a workshop about commercial awareness one time, and it was so bizarre. I'm sure that someone, like the tutor, just came and bought loads of newspapers, and we were like looking through newspapers and trying to like pull out commercial awareness stories. So I was just looking for anything that was anything to do with like finance. Oh, there's a commercial awareness story. Okay, I'm commercially aware now. And I was saying on my post today, it's, really it didn't really tick it with me what it actually means to be commercially aware until I was in like a law firm environment when I was a paralegal. Because it's so much more than just reading a story or watching the news. But so I used to just think, oh yeah, I'm commercially aware. I watch the news. I go on like the Law Gazette and look at the highlights. I'm aware. But it's more than that. You need to actually understand what you're reading, what you're watching, and understand the impact it has. So more than just knowing. So I said about the Leveson Report as an example. Being commercially aware is more than just knowing, okay, there's a Leveson Report and this is what it says. You need to also think about what John and I have just done there. What impact is it going to have? And what are your thoughts? Like, what's your opinion on it? And this is what I was saying. That doesn't mean you have to go and shove your opinion down people's throats and go, rants on LinkedIn. I mean, there has been a few of those this week, but that's not what I'm saying necessarily. But in your applications or in your pupillage or training contract interviews, especially as John says, if you're looking for crime, if it asks you about a current hot topic and you mention this report, you need to be able to say, this is the impact I think it could have on defendants, on the court system, on criminal lawyers, and my view is X, Y, and Z. Even if you say, my view is evolving because I'm interested to see what it means. You don't have to say, my view is no, my view is yes, but you just have to show that you're thinking critically about it, and that's really how you show more than just a rudimentary knowledge of something. Yeah,
and there might even be some areas where, if you pardon the pun, the jury's still out for you.
Yeah.
You might not have a fixed opinion one way or the other on certain things. Like, as I was saying there, some of these proposals in terms of expanding, certain offences that can be summary only. I've not got a finalised opinion on that, to be honest, because I can see the benefits of it. I can certainly see some cons. And as you say, Hayley, as long as you can go, well, I'm actually not sure because some of the pros would be this, but some of the cons is this. So the jury's out for me, on that basis. It shows, as you say, that you're having a really good think about it.
Yeah. And I think this is a good rule of thumb, which I didn't actually mention on my LinkedIn post, but I think we've said this before on the podcast. If you're in the pub with a friend, someone that's not a law student, not a lawyer, your dad, your brother, and they said to you, what's this Leveson Report that everyone's talking about? And if you can't explain it to them in a way that they understand it, then you yourself probably don't understand it. So that's a good rule of thumb. Can you explain whatever this issue is, whatever this commercial awareness topic is? If you can't explain it to someone that's got nothing to do with law, then you need to go back and revisit it because you probably don't understand it enough.
Yeah, definitely.
So there you go. I guess that was our commercial awareness corner, which
I suppose it was,
we haven't done for a little while.
Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone.
2 birds, 1 stone.
This video is brought to you by Speed Mooting. We are an organisation that help aspiring and junior lawyers. We run online and in-person advocacy and mooting competitions. We do online advocacy and public speaking training, and we run lots of other events to assist people on their legal journey. To learn more, visit our website, speedmooting.com.
Watch this space because I'm sure there'll be lots of developments on this report in the coming months.
I reckon so.
Okay, moving on. We need to talk about some new exciting events that we have launched.
We certainly do.
Coming up first, Speed Mentoring is back.
It's back. We did it in January. It was massively popular.
It broke our website. Eagle eyes who've been with us for a while might notice we have a new website now. And that may or may not be related to that outage.
Yeah. So we're on a new website. It's a lot more reliable.
Hasn't crashed yet.
Hasn't crashed yet, no, which is good.
Touch wood.
So it's back. What dates are they, Hayley?
We have the solicitor mentoring night on the 6th of August. And the barrister mentoring night on the 7th of August.
So yeah, so last time we did it just for barristers. It was hugely popular, so we thought, you know what, let's expand it out, give aspiring barristers and solicitors a go.
Yep. And last time it was focused on pupillage mentoring, where this time we've said it's, any advice. So
Yeah.
you could be an A-level student and you just want to have a chat with the solicitor and see if the solicitor route is for you, or you could be a bar graduate actively looking for pupillage that needs real advice from a barrister. So there's no limit on what the mentoring is about. It's anyone out there who needs some mentoring from a legal practitioner.
Precisely.
You are welcome to register.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want the chance to meet with a barrister or solicitor, depending on your interest, get signed up for it. So sign up's open now. It's going to be open for a couple of weeks before we do our ballot, isn't it?
Yes.
Because basically what we're going to do is we know it's going to be massively oversubscribed. So I can't remember is it 2 weeks before the event itself?
2 or a week, we'll see, because it's not actually that far away,
no,
is it?
It's not that far away. And what we'll do is once we get to that point, we'll do a randomised draw. All the successful people will receive an email to say you've been successful.
Yeah.
Everyone else will receive an email to say you're on the reserve list. So still keep an eye out on your emails anyway.
Yeah, because people do drop out.
People drop out all the time. And it's because, the way that we go about things is, we like to keep it fair. So let's have it completely random. All this, don't do any of this application form. Oh, what have you done previously? What have you done here? No, it's not. How do you judge who's more deserving than somebody else?
No, we don't. That's not our game here at Speed Mooting.
That's not our game at all.
And I think last time we were like, well, it's, first come, first served. But it went to our mailing list first, and it was our mailing list that broke the website. And oh my gosh, guys, it was such a painful task for me, because all the slot, and we had a fair few barrister mentors. Bearing in mind, so you get a 15-minute slot with a solicitor or a barrister. So every barrister we have, or every solicitor we have, increases the number of mentees we can let in. And we had an awful lot of barristers last time. And still, I think our mailing list took every spot within 15 minutes of registration opening. So I had to go through and to the second look at who was getting in. Yeah. So this time we said, no, let's do a ballot and we will pull people out at random. So you're not disadvantaged for signing up now rather than signing up 2 days ago. It's equal opportunities for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we are very legit in everything we do. And when Hayley says to the second, we are not joking. It was stored in a spreadsheet. So it'd be 8, 15 and 3 seconds. And so
it was fun.
I can imagine. Yeah, we are painstaking in making sure everything is as fair as it can be.
Yes.
So that's that one. And then for those of you who are into your mooting, we have just launched the National Speed Mooting Competition Autumn Cup. So this is the 3rd time that we're coming to the south. So for the 3rd time in a row, we're going to be at BPP London. It's the London Central, so that's in Holborn. And it's on Saturday the 13th of September. We launched sign up for that. Was it even a week ago?
Yeah, it might have been a week ago.
50% of the places have gone already.
Yeah, it's been so popular.
50% already, so there's only 64 places left.
Gosh.
I know, so that's going to fill up very, 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 very quickly. I can't believe that 50% have gone in a week. That's crazy. So those places are filling up quickly. As always, usual format for our competitions, 128 in a single day competition. You get to brief the night before, prep for both sides. It's only limited preparation, handful of cases in the bundle.
Yep.
On the day, 7 minutes of submissions for each side. You'll progress through the rounds and there'll be a winner at the end of the day that's going to walk off with an iPad.
We've actually got, because we've started recruiting our judges, because you're judged by practicing barristers and solicitors and academics. One of our runner-ups from wasn't last year, a couple of years ago.
So He was, let me work this out, he was the 2023, because he was our first ever Autumn Cup runner-up.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
He's coming back to judge. So that's brilliant. And we've had other people come back and judge, but it's always nice when you have our superstars from previous years come back to judge. So that'll be really nice.
That's
and
really brilliant.
yeah, that's Jonathan Saunders coming back.
Saunders, yeah.
So if you're wondering what the day is like, so obviously, as John said, it's a full day knockout style mooting competition. But we also have lots of other events on during the day. We always want to make sure our events are super valuable for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, because it is knockout style, that means a lot of people go in the early rounds. Only one person can win in each moot. Someone has to lose. But if you do lose, you should still 100% stick around for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
We have things like, we put on lunch, well, BPP put on lunch, and it's always a really, really great lunch. So you can sit and network with other aspiring lawyers, with the barristers and solicitors. With us, we all sit together and have lunch.
That we do.
We do some sort of advocacy exhibition each year. So that could be a mock trial. It could be an exhibition into a piece of advocacy. We do Q&A sessions as well. So we usually have a good few barristers, solicitors, pupils, etc. that will sit down and answer your questions. And we always go out for a scoop afterwards. So I'm going to try and book somewhere this year, because there's a little, if you know London, there's a little pub at the bottom of the road where BPP is. The Red Lion, is it?
Ah, it is.
The Red Lion.
Yeah. It's a Green King pub, isn't it?
It's a Green King pub. And the first time we went there, it was great because we got we didn't book it, but the upstairs was just empty, so we took over the upstairs. Last year, upstairs was closed, so it's not ideal when you want to get around and talk to everyone and you're in this tiny little pub all like squashed in a line. Yeah. So I am going to try and find somewhere nearby where we can book a space so everyone can network and get round and speak to each other. Yeah. So if anyone knows London, and particularly knows that area of London, it's the business district pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Just off Chancery Lane,
Just off Chancery Lane. Anywhere that's good and not too expensive, because we are northerners. We don't want to pay £12 for a pint. Nearby that you would recommend, please do drop us a comment and let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do have a few other events planned as well.
That we do.
Haven't launched those just yet.
Yeah.
I'll give you shall we give it a little teaser?
Go on, give it a teaser.
This is the teasers I will give, and if we don't like them, we'll edit them out. So, first one is going to be an insight into your brain, John. So if you want to learn more about John Dove, the barrister, the Speed Mooting founder, the kart racer,
the man, the myth, the legend.
The man, the myth, the legend, then we do have an event coming in relation to that soon. And we also have an in-person event coming up in partnership with a Chambers. And that is all I will say, but we are super duper excited about that.
That's going to be good.
So now you're listening to this, you're frantically taking notes. How am I going to keep up with all this? How am I going to make sure I can go to every event? Let me tell you. Join the Community Hub.
Yeah.
This is our free online space where you will get notified whenever we launch a new event. It'll come straight into your inbox. This event is launched. Sign up now. You'll get it before it goes on socials, before it goes anywhere else. So join the Community Hub, hub.speedmooting.com. Boom.
Time for some questions, I think.
Time for Ask Speed Squad.
Right.
And we still need a jingle.
We do.
I'm trying to get John to sing Ask Speed Squad or something to that nature so we can make a jingle. So one day you will hear it.
One day.
So just one question today.
Oh.
But it's a good question.
Okay, go on.
What makes a pupillage or training contract application stand out beyond just good grades? So usual disclaimer, neither John nor I have ever been in a position to offer pupillage or training contracts.
Yeah.
So this is just our opinion. We are not the experts on this.
Yeah.
And if there are any recruiters firms, chambers listening that think that's absolute gobbledygook, then please do get in touch and correct what we're about to say.
Absolutely.
So, beyond just good grades, what makes an application stand out?
Okay, well, I think whatever it is that you're applying to do, give evidence of that. So let's take the pupillage example. So you're applying to be a barrister. Well, what does a barrister do? Key thing is advocacy. That's the first thing that comes to mind. A barrister advises in conference. A barrister does a lot of written advice, advice from counsel, etc. And also, most pupillages are at the self-employed bar in chambers, so you're going to be self-employed as well, so you need to be self-motivated and what have you. So see if you've got any evidence to back that up. So the classic thing would be, let's say, advocacy. Do you have anything to back up why you're a good advocate? If you want to moot, are you in the advocacy club, for example? Have you done any other form of public speaking? Whatever it might be, can you give concrete examples of why you're a good advocate? So some form of advocacy / public speaking you've done, and if there's any evidence to suggest that you're good, if you've persuaded someone of something, you've won a competition, great, tick that one. Conferencing skills, well, the key way I can think of highlighting that is, I worked at the CA, volunteered at the CAB when I was a student. I know you did the same.
Yep.
When you're doing that, you sit in conference and you have to advise people. That's a good example of it. However, you might have part-time jobs during your studies, or you may have even had other jobs, full-time jobs, in an advisory role. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, let's say you've worked in like Curry's or something. Someone comes in and goes, I'm after something that's, I want a particular TV and I want it to do this. Okay, right. You've had to talk them through the options, advise them. It's exactly the same skill.
Yep.
It's no different, okay? It's, you might be sitting in a posh office in a suit and what have you, but at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing. You're talking to people through options and telling them, this is the route I would take. Yep. What a weird analogy to say that, giving legal advice is the same as selling a TV, but quite frankly, when you break it down to its nuts and bolts, it probably is. So the point I'm making is, any examples that you've got from employment, from part-time jobs, from volunteering, think about how they can be analogous to your role as a lawyer. And then written advice as well. You can give examples of, could be courseworks that you've done that are really good. It could be you've had to draft something that was very persuasive. So say if you have, I don't know, say if you've run for some form of, elected position, whatever it might be, had to draft a, very good manifesto for yourself. I'm saying manifesto, I've never did any student union type stuff, so I don't know, but you get the point I'm making.
Yes.
So any examples like that, it's examples of your good written work. And then I think beyond that, if you've got something that just shows you a little bit interesting and a little bit out there, something that makes people go, do you know what, I want to find out about that thing. Mm-hmm. So for example, when I've talked about kart racing, people have asked me questions about that. It's a bit different. What is it? What does that involve?
Yeah.
So anything that you've got that's a little bit different, go for it. I mean, the problem is, if you're anything like you or I, Hayley, when we were in our younger years, you couldn't really do anything that was even moderately expensive. So
yeah,
it
doesn't have to be like something crazy though. Like for my training contract interview, I talked a lot about running because I used to enjoy running back then, and I used to run a lot for charity. Yeah. So that was a big thing that I talked about. Yeah. Yeah. So as long as it's something that you're passionate about and that shows your personality. I mean, great if you've, gone and climbed Kilimanjaro or done a 24-hour kart race, but, your interests don't have to be out there. They just have to show that you are an individual. That's what people like, We're not all human lawyer robots. We are all people. Yeah. Yeah, just something that's going to spark people's interest and make them want to ask you some questions. So they're just some pointers I would give as, something that makes your answer stand out. And just the final point on that, within the answers, don't think that the word limit is a target. It's a word limit,
and make sure your best bits go first. Don't make people read through the answer. Put the best bit in first so it stands out.
Yeah, definitely.
People are, people who read these applications, they're reading hundreds of them, so
They're reading thousands of them.
So yeah, make your best bit stand out.
Yeah, definitely. No, I would agree, John. So good grades are a given in this industry. They really are. It has to be, if you haven't met the minimum grades, there has to be there has to be an exceptional reason to justify why that's not a true reflection of your intelligence, basically. Because let's face it, you want to be a lawyer, you need to be intelligent. That's a given. And then, yeah, I completely agree with what you said, John, which is evidence every single skill that you're saying that you have. And I think you touched on this as well. Make sure you break down. So for whatever role you're applying for whatever, so let's say it's a law firm, and so when I was applying with Ewan Mitchell, you had to pick personal legal services training contracts. That was your family laws, your court of protections, your negligence, or business legal services. That was your corporates, your real estate, your dispute resolution, etc. So you had to pick which one you wanted. Now, I would expect, if John and I were applying and I was applying for personal and he was applying for business, our application should be very different, because you should be able to say, well, the skill set I'm going to focus on, saying that I want to do business law, is different to the skill set that you would focus on if you want to do personal. Now, there's going to be your core skills that you have to evidence, your ability to work under pressure, your ability to work as part of a team, skills that are given no matter what specialism you have, if you want to work in a law firm or work as a lawyer. But then if you can show that you really understand the nuanced skills that are needed for the particular areas of law that you're interested in, I think that's just one step further.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you've got your heart set on the personal side of things because you really want to be a family lawyer, if you've worked hard to build up your experience in situations where you have to support people, so you support through courts, things like that, even if it's just, you've got loads of customer facing volunteering roles where you're working with loads of different people, whereas your business side of things, you maybe focus on things that test your ability to really think critically or really hone your attention to detail. So you've got examples of entering and winning essay writing competitions and things of that nature, because that's just, once again, they always cross over. You need to be able to deal with people in business and you need to have an attention to detail in family, but it's just those little differences that will set you apart, I think, if you can show you understand exactly what's needed for that area of law.
I think people skills is so underrated. I think as a criminal barrister, it's absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
Particularly if you do, I was about to say particularly if you do defence, but actually no, it's for either, because even if you're prosecuting, you're obviously dealing with your witnesses quite a lot, and these are people who are in highly emotionally charged situations, and as a criminal barrister, you've got to be able to deal with the broad spectrum of people. You might be dealing with a high net worth individual that's charged with a complicated fraud. You might be dealing with someone who's got extensive mental health problems. You might be dealing with, people who, just anyone charged with a crime. And, quite often, you've got to come across characters and there's banter that you have in conference, for example. So you've got to be able to deal with people.
Yeah.
And the last thing they want is someone who's just boring with no personality whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then likewise, when you're speaking with your solicitors as well, have some personality, you can bounce off each other.
Yeah.
And that's probably important in many areas as well. But yeah, so I think that's really crucial. And where you build that up is when you're when you're in your part-time job. So obviously we both worked in retail. I was in Primark, you were in New Look, wasn't it? And you're there with other people your age. When you're on the shop floor, in the back room, whatever, you're speaking with people, you're having banter, you're doing whatever. That's where you build up those people skills. And I think that can really shine through, and I think that's massively underrated.
Yeah.
Because you can be the most intelligent lawyer. You can know every. You could swallow Archibald and know every single word of it.
But if your client doesn't like you,
it's hard to get that rapport, and you get the best out of the client, the client gets the best out of you. And secondly, it kind of makes it hard for you to give advice in a palatable way, because at the end of the day, you're dealing with quite complex legal topics, quite complex legal concepts sometimes, and you've got all this legal language. You need to break it down into layman's terms so your client understands. And I think that's where the people skills really come in.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, it's try and not, and this is hard to do, but try and not second guess yourself. And I was guilty of this, especially in the application stage. You read a question and then you start thinking, oh, what answer do they want from me? Or what type of person do you think they want from this question? It's not, it's not good for you and it's not good for them. Be honest and, answer the question truthfully and get your own personality across, because if you try and make yourself into someone that you think that firm wants or you think that chambers want, and that is the type of person they want, so that's the type of person that they hire, but when you actually get there, you're like, it's not actually me though. Give yourself 6 months, a year, however long it is, you're not going to be happy. And then if your true self starts coming out and it doesn't fit in with their culture or their style, then they're not going to be happy with you either. So be true to yourself from the get-go, and the chambers and the firm that you're supposed to be in will want you for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oof, I think we'll leave that there, because once again I've got to edit this podcast tonight and we've been talking for quite some time.
That we have. Well, I think that brings us to the end. We've covered a lot there, haven't we?
Yep.
So I've thoroughly enjoyed recording this. Hope you have too, Hayley.
I certainly have, John.
Hope you guys at home have enjoyed listening. If you're still listening at this point, drop us a comment below. And the comment this week is going to be...
It's got to be Leveson.
It's got to be Leveson, hasn't it?
Of course it has.
Yeah. And
if you've got any questions about that, or about anything else we've discussed, or about anything else at all, send them in to us, info@speedmooting.com, or leave a comment wherever it is that you're listening or watching this.
Yeah. And so episode 69 next week. If you think you know who that's going to be named after, drop the names below. And... if you haven't already done so, whichever platform you're on, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, do us a favour, leave us a rating, make sure you're following the show. It takes you a couple of seconds, but it means so much to us, because it just helps the show grow, and it means that we can continue to bring you this great content. And also, in terms of our Conversations with Counsel podcast, we've got a few booked in. We want to keep bringing on bigger and bigger and bigger guests. So any ratings, any follows really help us in that regard.
Indeed.
That does bring us to the end. Gonna say goodbye and see you next week.
Cheerio.